All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or, well, I guess there's kind of two elephants, but we already know about that elephant. And I was like, how many elephants do there need to be in the room before the room is too small and they can just change the light bulb by barely get. That's besides the point. The main point is, should Melo and Miz become a tag team? I mean, come on. I was like Melo don't Miz. That was kind of good. If I should, I yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, welcome back. First of all, and also while you're here, do the whole thing that you got to do, or do it at the end, or not at all. I was like, freedom of will. Anyway, the biggest elephant in the room is apparently it looks like Jacob Fatu is now the leader. He now, I was like, he didn't even have to do the whole look at me, I'm the captain now. Someone just was like, you are the captain. I don't want to steer this ship anymore. Um, yeah, I was like, Solo showed up, and Jacob and Cody actually had a mutual of they both want Solo, and Jacob Fatu, while crashing out, basically found him, and Solo looked like he was giving his blessing as like, hey, I failed, so the only way we can redeem everything is pretty much the championship that you got the best shot to really get towards. I was like, first of all, I think one that I was like, cool, we're not going to get Cody and Solo again, which Cody even pointed out there's really no point in this. And I'm sort of glad with this. Like, as much as I do like Solo, no, there's no reason to revisit this at all, especially at this stage and how everything is. So I'm glad that was sort of like nipped in the bud from both sides of things. That just like, no, we're not actually doing this. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that, a regular match might not happen, for instance, like maybe on a SmackDown or something like that. But I feel like it's safe to say we don't have to worry about it at like Elimination Chamber. But it's funny that, how everybody seemed to have speculated that Jacob was going to turn on Solo, and especially how he was like, I love you, Solo. That it turned to Solo being like, I love you, Jacob. And one, it does not ring the same way, but it was also startling at look how one he grabbed his arm and Jacob kind of looked like, and then once he said that, he also looked like, okay, like going to show a weird ass, like he it really just seemed like it took Jacob like it's almost like it felt like Jacob was going to do this anyway, but once Solo sort of gave it to him, that it almost made it seem like I was like, that ain't what I wanted. I just want to know what happened to you, kind of thing. And but he also seemed like he was going to beat Solo's ass too. So maybe this is also Solo. Seeing how everything done happened, how he kicked Jimmy out and all that other stuff. That's just like, oh nope, you got this. You got the juice now. Yeah. So I was like, that was really. I was like, I guess what also sucks is the fact that one, we're getting a lot of this backstage stuff that we never got from the blood from this bloodline at all. Where it's like Jacob Fatu's cooking, I was like kicking off really good at promos, and him and Solos interacting, and we're getting all this pretty much at the sort of the latter end of whatever this bloodline part is. So it's something we're getting that all late in the game, but also what does this mean for Solo? Because now Solo it just it's just a chump. Like, is he just I felt like the year of sort of building up Solo to where it's like, okay, what he is sort of like lingering around. Then he sort of built himself up to start being like, oh, okay, cool. Of course, he's going to lose to Cody. We're waiting for Roman Reigns to come out. Oh, he's starting to rack up some wins, even if it's tag team. Okay, all right. Solo looking kind of strong. Okay, he looking back to sort of not what we was when he was an enforcer, but he looking like he got a little son. Okay, he lost the Ulafa. Okay, now he back to being a punk. All right, and it's not that he's giving the reins over to Jacob that's a problem or whatever. Because I was like, I was like, he gets to be a smart man and being like, oh, okay, this ain't my time. This is your time. And hey, whoever we are, I was like, whoever has the Ula follow, whoever has the championship is drop chief. And it's like, okay, cool. but it's the way that it went about it. Where just like, I don't think I could do this. You want to drive? I can't drive. Cars make me scared. Like it's like, then why you been driving this whole time? That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like from Jacob's whole point of view. But I was like, this all sort of this. I was like, but this all sort of kicked off from basically Cody coming out from the solo beating from last week to Drew coming out to basically talk to him, and they basically just sort of had a little funny bit because Cody basically was kind of just like naming off everybody and being like the voice of the voiceless, CM Punk, the greatest of all time, John Cena. I was like, he even gave Logan Paul a little something either. I was like, I don't remember it because I was like, oh, okay, cool, Logan Paul. Oh, he was like the rising superstar or something, or best wrestler without no practice or something. Who cares? Yeah, and then after that, pretty much Drew just like, oh, just Drew. That's just it. You're just gonna say Drew? Okay, that's cool. Which that pretty much just had Jacob Fatu come out, and Jacob and Drew staring down, and Drew's like, oh, I guess you want to see a Scottish warrior against a werewolf. And for a minute, I knew that the heel thing was gonna do was like, we're not gonna give it to you, but he said we're gonna give it to you, and I was like, huh. I was like, maybe they wouldn't. And I was like, dumb. He's going to Jacob Fatu's in a triple threat. That doesn't make any sense. What Drew pointed out. So I'm dumb there. But I'm not gonna lie, it still is kind of like, what is Drew supposed to be, the bloodline like destroyer or whatever? Like, is it because they sort of self-imploded on one side that he was? Because he said if Solo, if you lost to Roman, I'm coming after you. That and then nothing. He ain't. I was like, he attacked Sammy them a couple times, beat Sammy off the map. Ain't got to worry about Sammy. I was like, lost to Jay. I was like, him and Jimmy doing their thing, so I guess that's sort of a continuation, but he's not following up like how he was. I don't know if this is going to be something prolonged till WrestleMania. Maybe he's going to do it up until WrestleMania. Who knows? I don't know. It just seems like it's really going to sort of die. Like him and Jimmy just sort of doing the thing where it's just like they just get on each other's nerves. That's what I really feel like. Jacob Fatu can basically really cut a promo, but he really just talking. He just like, yo, I'm out here with gas, no brakes. I'm a dog walk there. Like, you know, I was like, he's saying some stuff, but I was like, but it's really how he says it. And you just also just be like, I'm fearful of him. That is sort of resonate with you when he's talking. And of course, Solo comes up, and I was like, and Cody wanted to go up for Solo, and Solo was like basically like, no disrespect, but I gotta talk to Solo first. And then Cody was like, well, I'm going to talk to him last. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes after first. Like, you pretty much are last. You not watch Talladega Nights? Ricky Bobby said so. So, yeah. So, I was like, and then when we get towards the end, I was like, I was like, if you would have told me who was going to win the triple threat, I would have said Damien Priest. Just because I would have figured that Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu would have did something to get in each other's way. Then as the match happened and they were sort of letting them all go because, you know, they're over here fighting Titans because they're all big in hell. I was like, oh man, they're actually going to pull the plug on Jacob Fatu actually winning. And especially once it sort of was the spike to Braun Strowman. And I was like, and Jacob Fatu did the Swanton bomb. But then that's when I was like, okay, they're not going to have Jacob Fatu win. The reason I say that is like, one, he did the Swanton, and that's normally not how he wins. Normally wins off the moonsault. Also, after that happened, he did not cover Braun. He just sort of rolled out the way, and it was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they didn't even try to do like a pin that was kind of like, oh, okay, we're going to do a pin, and then Braun Strowman going to kick out. It was like, no. And I was like, okay, so we're just sort of waiting. We're just waiting, which felt a lot in a lot of the matches where it just felt like they were waiting for something to happen that just seemed like timing was off or whatever. We had this with Shinsuke and the LA Knight stare down. I was like, we had this here. It seemed like we sort of had it with the Nia Jax, Tiffany thing. But anyway, Yeah, so I was like, pretty much Bloodline come. I was like, well, I guess we still call him the Bloodline comes out. Cody comes out, and Damien Priest ended up getting the victory, which I sort of thought in the beginning. But I was like, yo, seeing Jacob Fatu in the elimination chamber. Problem is guess what? You got Jacob Fatu riding such a high that you can't really have him lose. So with that being said, I should have also known that he's not going to be in the chamber, because just like how Roman died in the chamber, nobody's going to lose. So hey, I was like, but it was a good thought. I was like of being, and also too I like on commentary they was talking about how pretty much Braun Strowman and Damien Priest both being in elimination chamber at different times and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was like, obviously Jacob Fatu about to get that hella push to something. Uh, I was like, but I just don't know what yet, and I don't know how long it's going to be to where they're going to make it. I mean, like they could do however long they want to, making him a monster and have him going on a streak and stuff like that. But it's more about what are the dynamics. Because I think he's going to bust Solo ass up. I was like, don't know when, but I think it's coming. I was like, got him and Tama Tonga I think is a pretty much good duo. To me, they don't have to bring Loa back, but if you want to or add somebody, I was like, that's cool. I think that you can. I was like, I don't have a problem with doing this bloodline thing. I just think after this, you just sort of have them just be the bloodline, like as a faction, but you don't have to have them really be like the bloodline of interacting with the OG bloodline, or Solo got his own group. I don't think you gotta do all that. And I think Solo, you just sort of have him be like a man without a home, pretty much after this. If they're gonna do that way, if not, I was like, obviously we'll see. Anyway, so on other stuff of SmackDown, we had that match. I was like, while it did not end with a DQ, I felt it was a little bit clunky, I think, towards the end to have Damien Priest win. It did feel like there was a sort of a gap, and I ain't talking about with the audience, because the audience was like, oh, Damien Priest won. Which I was like, it just seemed like the execution wasn't there to properly get the audience into that. And also, I think they also want Jacob Fatu to win. Speaking of which, let's go to something that I also did not necessarily agree with, of Naomi beating Chelsea Green. Should have figured it was going to happen because after Lyra lost to Bayley. But what I don't understand is, I was like, okay, so while yes, Chelsea Green has beaten Machine and B-Fab, still haven't really had, I was like any proper matches, nothing like that. I'm like, nah, I was like, all the mid champions sort of be like being half-ass featured. Then I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't understand why you put them in these matches to see who gets in the elimination chamber, and also then like get them to lose while they're the champions, because the people that they get beat by, we sort of see how the rule goes of like, you normally get the title shot. Like, I was like, is Naomi gonna get a shot after this or something? But I was just like, why not throw one of these people in here? Especially I was like, you're not gonna give them a match, first of all, so put them in a chamber. We've done this before with other U.S. champions and Intercontinental champions. Like, Logan Paul's been in there as a champion. I think Miz has been there as champion. Like, put them in there as champion. What's the problem? I was like, plus it'd be a pretty good showcase. I was like I said, Lyra putting a young talent in there, I think that's fine. While Bayley's getting on NXT, that's cool. I was like, Naomi got the tag team title, and so you need to go and do something with her. She got that segment where she's going to have something with Liv and Raquel, who they got a title shot versus anyway. But with the Jade stuff, give it to Chelsea Green. She's not going to do anything else right now anyway. Go ahead, put her in the chamber. Put all her funniness in there, of her being in the little tube, her talking junk to the camera, to the people outside, to the other women that's in there while she stayed in the cage, try to play off that the cage not open and stuff, like, regular stuff. I just didn't think there was no reason. I didn't really think there was a reason for these match setups, to be honest. And I was like, and if you didn't really have a choice, it also sounded like, why did you give up a couple of those women that could have ate those pins? Could have kept Blair Davenport to eat a pin. Could have kept Sonya Deville to eat a pin. You get what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have to throw your champions in there to get beaten. For what? Yeah, I was like, it was a fine match. I think they had a good. I was like, they were playing with it. I was like, they was over here, like you could tell, like they were doing like funny hijinks with each other. And I was like, I thought they were doing a lot of like leg moves, but I was like, that's I was like, it was weird, but it was fun. We also had Motor Machine Guns versus La Gaza, and yeah, I was like, it was fine. It was cool. I was like, of course, Motor Machine Guns are going to win. To be honest, and then we had Pretty Deadly who's going to take on DIY later on. And I was like, I like when they sort of give the comedic characters a little bit more seriousness, where it's like they can still be funny, but they can also like show like a little edge about them or whatever like that too. Because I was like, I feel like people are like, if you're funny, you can't compete or get championships. I'm like, that's so stupid. But what I really like is the Street Profits, and one knowing that Dawkins is hurt in a way that's like, oh, okay, they can't do anything right now. But the fact that they seem so pumped and whatever, that it's just like, okay, maybe this is actually the time again that they actually do something with the Street Profits after this. So I was like, I assume Pretty Deadly's going to lose next week. I wouldn't mind if they won, but they're going to lose so that DIY and Street Profits can have something. And then Motor City will get involved, and that will be a DQ. Again, I was like, we had Shinsuke needing a challenger. Miz comes out, which made LA Knight comes out. And I'm not going to lie, the Miz and LA Knight sounded like it really wasn't a script here. It sounded like they were sort of actually trading some actual shots or whatever. I was like, from the Miz doing the fake crying, LA Knight saying basically you ain't relevant anymore. I was like, the whole thing about LA Knight saying men can cry. I was like, LA Knight just basically really bashing the Miz in a way where it's almost like the Miz didn't really have anything to really say here. Then they had a match, of course. LA Knight won, which means that he's pretty much going to face Shinsuke. So I was like, but that felt like it was one of those things where it was like, oh, this is going off kilter kind of thing. Some Ricky Starks, Chris Jericho, Edge type of thing. Or Colt, whatever. But I was like, they haven't done that with Shinsuke Nakamura. I was like, that I thought the Miz was going to actually win, because I was like, that way the Miz can lose. Shinsuke gets technically an opponent, and then LA Knight has to have the big victory at WrestleMania. Because I was like, I don't think they'll do it at Elimination Chamber. It already seemed like we got our matches for Elimination Chamber, or sorta. To where I'm just like, that might be on episode SmackDown, and maybe that's wonky where the Miz threw himself in there, and pretty much it's a triple threat at Mania. That's what it sort of might seem like at this moment in time. Melo faced R-Truth, which I actually thought there was a chance that Melo might actually lose to R-Truth. Not gonna lie, but I will say that R-Truth is a very funny dude. Like, really, because I was like, that whole segment was ignorant. It really was like who's on third? You. No, not you. Me. Who? You. Not me. And it was really like that, where he just like, he's like, oh, I'm him. He's like, no, you Carmelo. That's Akira Tozawa. And it's like, I know that's Akira Tozawa, but he ain't. I was like, but he ain't him. I'm him. And it's like, whoa, no. And it was like, that was funny. That was some dumbness right there. And I am still going down with saying Melo and Miz, a tag team, Melo don't Miz. A little bit, just because Melo has been, Carmelo not being risen in a way that I was like, I understand that I was like, I think it could be cool and it could be a thing, but I also understand that Melo not having any success either, and putting him with the Miz sometimes doesn't really go well, because the Miz can sort of have his own vortex as well, and it doesn't help when you're also been losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Melo didn't have like a little bit of success or something, then it'd be a little bit fine. It can sort of seem cool, but now it just sort of seems like a little desperation in a sense, and I don't think you want that for a character this early in the game. Then we had Sami Zayn, basically talking about like how he's hurt, but it's, you know, mainly everything hurts. He don't know why Kevin Owens did it, but basically when he come back healthy, he's gonna be ready. And Kevin Owens said, "Bump that. I don't care if we're not ready. Meet me at Elimination Chamber in Canada." And to be honest, I don't think it's going to be an actual match. I think this is going to pretty much be them fighting at some point. Like I think they're gonna come out to the ring, or they're going to talk, and they're just going to fight. I don't think it's going to be an actual match. They're both technically not cleared, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is just not a brawl of sorts that just happens to go through like maybe the whole arena and then being broken up, and it's not an actual match. It's just sort of being like a half tease to basically what we might get at WrestleMania when they're actually going to be fully cleared with that. Which brings us to the last match of Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax. It was a good match. I think that they were really going about the way of basically saying how Tiffany Stratton, while like she was playing up the babyface role really a lot, basically getting Nia doing all the moves and all the other stuff. But I think it's also sort of showing that, hey, Tiffany did cash in. Is she ready? Sorta, yeah, kinda. But I was like, but it is a different beast facing Nia. And while Nia did only win due a DQ, which I'm not surprised. Like, part of me was like, this is one of those things where it's like, once again, this week been a bunch of good matches that have ended by DQ, and it's kind of just like, okay, all of them ended by DQ, and this one was sort of that as well, where it's like a pretty good match ended by DQ. I sort of get it. You want to keep Nia strong. You want to have Tiffany like also be strong, sort of a cop out, and also save this match as well. Kind of think they'll do it again. And Tiffany just got basically beaten by Nia Jax. Trish Stratus tried to intervene, but guess what? Got her ass handed to her too. And this is going to be the match at the Elimination Chamber. It's Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So that's one of the matches. Hey, they're going to put a women's match on. So that's why I said, I was like, we got the two Elimination Chambers. I was like, we got that match. I think we're gonna get another match, and Kevin Owens and Sami is gonna be something almost like how Stone Cold Kevin Owens was to me. That's how I think it's gonna go down with that. But after the beatdown, it did get weird. Here's that other elephant in the room, just like the third elephant, you know. If you wasn't counting. Charlotte Flair comes out. Nia doesn't pay her any mind. So cool for whatever. Anybody remember when it was over here having that fighting segment? And goes to the ring, sits down, don't attack Tiffany, but basically says, I choose you. I also want to know why. Is it because it seemed like it's easy picking? Like she's like, you know, she showed against Nia that she's not ready? Is that what it was? That's the only thing I got of that. That is really just like, you know, just being a vulture and just being like, oh snap, there's already roadkill here. That's where I'm going. Like I said, I thought there was more money in the Rhea Charlotte match, but we're gonna go with this one, and I'm just like, Charlotte's gonna win that, just to let y'all know. So yeah, that's SmackDown. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about necessarily the Nia Jax Tiffany DQ. And also Charlotte picking her as well too. I don't think that's necessarily the right choice. But yeah. Anyway, what do y'all think about whatever this was? It seemed like, I mean, it was like, look, this week of this SmackDown and Raw was a lot of good matches, a lot of decisions I didn't agree with, and a lot of DQs. Yeah. So it was a real sort of throwaway type of one while you're waiting for the Elimination Chamber. But anyway, let me know what you think. And yeah, until then, I'm out.